The history of Singapore begins long before the period of written records. Archaeological findings suggest that the area was already inhabited in the 3rd century after Christ. The earliest written references come from Chinese sources of the 3rd century after Christ, which mention a trading settlement called Puluo Chung, meaning roughly island at the end of the peninsula. This early settlement was strategically located along important maritime trade routes between India, China, and the Malay archipelago. Around the 13th century after Christ, a larger settlement emerged on the island, referred to in Malay chronicles as Temasek, meaning sea city. According to legend, a prince from Palembang is said to have landed on the island around the year 1199 after Christ and to have seen a lion. He therefore named the place Singapura, a word derived from Sanskrit meaning lion city. Historically, it is established that Singapore was an important trading post in the 14th century after Christ and was at times under the influence of the Srivijaya Empire and later the Majapahit Empire. In the 15th century after Christ, Singapore declined in importance after the Sultanate of Malacca rose to prominence on the Malay Peninsula and came to dominate regional trade routes. Singapore was largely abandoned during this period and developed into a small and insignificant fishing settlement. For several centuries, the island played only a marginal role while formerly falling under the influence of various Malay sultanates, especially the Sultanate of Johor. A decisive turning point occurred in the year 1819 after Christ, when the British official Sir Stamford Raffles chose the island as the site for a new trading port. He concluded an agreement with local rulers and founded Singapore as a British trading post of the British East India Company. Because of its strategic location, Singapore developed rapidly into an important hub for trade between East Asia, South Asia, and Europe. In the year 1826 after Christ, Singapore became part of the so-called Straits Settlements and thus came under direct British administration. During the 19th century after Christ, the population grew rapidly, mainly due to immigration from China, India, and the Malay world. Singapore developed into a multicultural society and one of the most important ports in the world. In the year 1867 after Christ, it officially became a British crown colony. Its economic importance continued to increase, particularly through trade in tin, rubber, and later petroleum. During the Second World War, Singapore suffered a severe setback. In the year 1942 after Christ, Japanese forces captured the island after a brief but intense military campaign. The British surrender is regarded as one of the greatest defeats of the British Empire in Asia. Japanese occupation lasted until the year 1945 after Christ and was marked by violence, repression, and great hardship for the population. After the end of the war, Singapore returned to British control. In the following years, however, the desire for self-government and political independence grew. In the year 1959 after Christ, Singapore was granted extensive internal self-government, with Lee Kuan Yew becoming prime minister. In the year 1963 after Christ, Singapore joined Malaya, Sabah, and Sarawak to form the Federation of Malaysia. This political union, however, was marked by tensions, particularly due to economic and ethnic conflicts. In the year 1965 after Christ, Singapore was expelled from the Federation of Malaysia and declared its independence. The young city-state faced major challenges, including unemployment, housing shortages, and a lack of natural resources. Under the leadership of Lee Kuan Yew, Singapore pursued a strategy of determined industrialization, strict administration, investment in education and infrastructure, and an export-oriented economy. In the decades that followed, Singapore developed into one of the wealthiest countries in the world. In the late 20th century after Christ, it became a global financial center, an important hub for air and sea transport, and a pioneer in technology, urban planning, and public administration. At the same time, the political system remained highly centralized, with limited political competition but a high degree of stability. In the 21st century after Christ, Singapore continued its development as a highly modern city-state. It invested heavily in in digitalization, research, sustainable urban development, and healthcare. The population remained ethnically and culturally diverse. By the year 2025 after Christ, Singapore is regarded as one of the safest, most efficient, and economically strongest countries in the world, having risen from a small island with an uncertain future to a global center of trade, innovation, and international connectivity.